I'm just saying, like a car crash at the beginning of the first review would be awesome. All right, guys. So, who wants to start? Should we just start this review on Mad V Apes? We are recording now and everything like that. So, I think we just get into the meat and potatoes.
All right, cool stuff. All right, so would you like me to go
Oh,
Yeah,
first?
yeah. Go right ahead, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So, reviewing Mad V Apes, man. It's a 4,999 ape collection. On the VeChain blockchain. The first collection is known as the Alpha Collection. Excuse me. And currently we have the new collection, the Fusion Collection, which is quite successful as well. We've seen how much the community has been expecting them, and now that they finally arrived, they're better than whatever we were expecting. Man, I saw the art; it's amazing. All the different apes that came out are amazing. Their mint was super fast. 75 seconds. That's has to be a record in VeChain.
Now, was that 75
And
seconds on the original mint, or was that 75 seconds on the new Fusion mint?
Fusion. That's what
I
Fusion.
think that was public. So
The fusion
fusion,
mint.
Yeah,
Fusion
public fusion, and
75
yeah,
seconds.
just clarification for people who don't know, like don't know the difference between the two different mints between the alpha males or the alpha apes and the fusion series and everything. So I think
yeah.
what
I
was it
appreciate you making that differentiation.
the original alpha mint for the project launch and everything was what it took like just over a day or so,
34
was it?
hours. 34 hours.
Wow. How many hours was that again, Virgo? Because I couldn't understand a damn thing you
Sound
just
like
said.
24.
Was it
34 hours.
was
24 hours?
30? Was it
34?
34
34?
hours.
Jesus, we
And
gotta get
I
her a
do want
better
to
mic.
clarify that it spanned over a few days, including their whitelist minting, which I mean they could have minted out the entire collection from whitelist. But just to clarify, the initial mint did have some whitelist tiers.
Okay, so it's at least safe to say that the Mad V Apes, at least NFT project, at least during the initial mints and its subsidiary mints and everything like that, is actually a very highly successful project. I'd say it's one of the most prominent ones in the VeChain NFT ecosystem. Would you guys agree as well?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you're scrolling on Twitter, man, and you see somebody posting like, "Hey, what NFT should I buy?" There's not a single post that you see somebody that you don't see somebody from the Mad V Apes community on there like, "Dude, check these out. Dude, check these out." They're all over everything. The PFPs have taken over. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and, that's a pretty good segue as well. It's like so, let's actually get into the review and just kind of stop Peter puffering around and everything. So like JT and Wilson, since you guys did the most research on the project as well and spoke with like the project heads and everything like that, can you guys give us a little insight on like the community engagement and everything like that too? Like obviously they have a great community. Everyone's always talking about it. Everyone is hyped as hell for it. Can you just give us like for the new users out there and the new collectors, can you just break down like how the Mad V Apes like community engagement is going?
So currently, in my opinion, for what I've seen, I can be very active in the Discord. I spoke with Uno, Shamrock, and from everything I see currently, the community is very, very active. There's not a time where you won't see people either participating on some event that's going on in the community, or talking about the new collections that are coming up, or talking about Ape World, their fighting game that's going on in the Discord currently. So it can be very active. They're also very active on Twitter. You'll always see them, like JT mentioned before. You'll see them promoting Mad V Apes. They're on their every post. I posted a poll actually yesterday, and it was I think it got 127 votes, and it was all Mad V Apes. Well, most of them, I would say, Mad V Apes people, and yeah. You can expect a lot of engagement from them. Anything related to Mad V Apes, they will be there, whether that be a space, a giveaway, an event, or even just following, their Mad V Ape family members on Twitter. So
Now it's safe to say
that's what I've seen from them.
the poll you ran on the second week of February in 2022, that was a poll gauging the VNFT community on how they felt about the overall. The overall feeling of the Mad V8's project. What were the options, and do you actually have the live results of that poll as well for like all of our new collectors out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason why I put up the poll out there is, like you said, I wanted to gather the community's opinion on Mad V Apes before we actually got to our review. And to just talk on the options, it was outstanding, negative, and neutral, and I thought those were some of the most simpler auctions that we could make. Shout out to you, Drip Chef, for actually helping me come up with this poll. We had 132 votes, and the final result of each category was 95% for outstanding, and I guess there was a 5% for neutral, which was interesting. But I am assuming those were people that either didn't know about the project or had a bad experience during minting, which we can sort of speak about that part of it, because there were a few people that commented below the poll that might have had a few bad experiences with Fusion Mint. But
I do want to comment one thing regarding the community as well. Their Discord has 24-hour coverage for somebody to answer questions. So if anybody out there is thinking of asking questions about Mad V Apes, I mean, if you hit up their Discord, there's always someone there willing to answer questions, and that's big for a project.
So what you're saying is, and just for anyone who didn't recap that, what you're saying is that at least with their community, the team is constantly involved in everything like that. Will answer any questions everywhere. It's a very lively Discord, so you actually have a good social aspect to it within the community, other holders, team members, and whatnot. It looks like and what JT was saying, you have a very active Twitter as well, where they're constantly updating as well. JT, do they have a website?
Yeah, so I looked at their website, and so this kind of falls under my my kind of red flag things, because their website just needs to be updated. They need probably somebody who speaks English to kind of go through, who English is the primary language that they read and write, to kind of go through and proofread, because there's typos and things of that nature. And their roadmap on their web page is I don't know if it's out of date, but it's just not very good. We're in Q1 right now. They've got a bunch of question marks under Q1 for their roadmap. They mentioned something about a lottery in Q1, which actually I searched their Discord this morning. I searched their Twitter this morning, and I haven't heard anything about that lottery. But I mean, we're still in Q1, right? So they've still got a month and a half-ish to go to deliver on that portion of it. But as far as the roadmap goes, they've done a really good job keeping up to snuff on the roadmap and delivering things that they've promised. So I do want to give them that, but I just think that the website itself needs revamping.
Yeah, so you could say because I'm looking at the website right now and everything, and yeah, it's definitely not to shit on them, but definitely needs some work. But obviously they are focusing more on the Discord with their active community and the Twitter. But I think what is kind of one of the first negative marks we have against them is that if you're getting new collectors and new people to the space and they keep on hearing about Mad V Apes, they're obviously going to Google it. First thing they're going to come to is the website. And if you have a kind of a bogged down and Uno and everyone else on the team, don't kill me. But if you kind of have a Dollar General kind of look to it, it's probably not going to really get a lot of new investors to the space. And I hate to put it that way, but I mean let's call a spade a spade. And plus too, on the roadmap, this is one of my red flags too. Is on roadmaps, I don't like seeing how to say elegantly, metric fuck ton of question marks. That kind of spooks me a little bit. I know the project and everything, but the fact is too, it seems like that their updated roadmap is only in their Discord, so you have to join the community to see the active roadmap. But listen, I'm part of a shitload of Discords. I don't want another one, especially a wicked active one, because I'm sick of notifications. So you're saying I am forced to now. Yeah, it's I'm now forced to join your Discord, and say you got other people too. They don't like joining a lot of Discords. They only want to be in the ones that their close friends are in.
Yeah.
So I have to join the Discord, get updated roadmap on this project, while all the outdated stuff is now public facing. It's it's not a good look. And plus too, they spelled. I think it kind of goes too long. They kind of need maybe a native English translator, or even a content person, because they spelled fusion wrong 3 times on the same portion of the roadmap, and that is driving me nuts right now. I think that might be the only negative things I can say about them on the community and engagement side and everything. But yeah, I mean, I think that overall community front-facing presentation on their website needs work, and it might not even be top priority, but from a marketing standpoint, it should at least be some kind of priority.
Yeah, and if I was involved with the team, that's something that I would have recommended they update before they had the New York Times Square ad, because people are going to see that ad. They're going to be like, oh, what's Mad V Apes? They're going to Google it, and then they're going to see oh shit, it's another like crypto scam, like Shiba, like
Yeah, I mean, it does the website, even though on launch it looked very nice, but like now kind of like in the
yeah,
grand scheme, it looks a little scammy to be honest.
yeah, and we
Uh,
know it's not right. I mean, we're involved with the community. We're just looking as if I was a third person observer who is not part of the VNFT community looking at it. I just think it needs work.
yeah, if I was a snob from like OpenSea, I'd be like, what is this bullshit? You know, like I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, but you know, like that's it's a good segue into like our next category we should talk about. So you know, you were saying like how if you remember the team and whatnot, like that, some of the things you'd improve. So let's talk about the overall team. And like JT, I know, I mean Wilson, I don't know, you guys are both interchangeable. Fucking our journalists at the I'm just a color commentary. I don't do nothing. I just come here and say weird
I've
jokes
never
and
been
like
called so handsome.
and kind of flow. But yeah, I'm the face, uh, which is
Oh
terrible.
God, no, please.
No, that's a terrible. Virgo's the face. It's the only girl. No one wants to see our ugly asses. But let's talk about. Can you guys tell us about the team? Like, you know, like who are the team members? What are their backgrounds? Like, what do you guys know about the current project team?
So
I think this
currently
would
we
probably
don't know.
be best for both.
No, go ahead, JT. Go ahead.
I said this would be best for you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So, currently, I only know of one team member, and that would be Nero. We do hear a lot from him in the chat. He's actually just the representative of the team. I believe he's also a dev. So I could be wrong on that, but that might be a blind spot in our research. Mostly I just researched the community members, and as well as community representatives like Uno and Shamrock. Um, yeah.
Now, who are Uno and Shamrock? Because I'm looking at the Mad V Apes fucking terrible website right now. I know we're back on the website again, but yeah, I see Nero as the founder. I see Nikki C
Yep.
as a founder, and I see Dade as a founder creative artist. Do we know anything about Nikki or Dade since they are publicly like stated as team members on their official website? Do we know anything about them?
So, as far as I know, I haven't heard much from them at all. I actually never really heard from them other than the time they spoke in the AMA. Um, and that was quite a while ago. So personally, I think they might want to be a little bit more active in talking in both in the community and on Twitter, so that we get to know them a little better, and get to sort of know who they are and what they do for Mad V Apes. I mean, obviously stated in the website, but we might need a more clear description just for people that are really involved. But yeah,
Devil's
as
advocate,
of
and
yeah, go
I
ahead.
do want to say that, like, you know, often in teams like development teams, you'll find that people kind of shift into place where they take on a role. And I think what's probably kind of happened there is Nero has been more like community engaged, whereas the other two are probably keeping their head down and trying to work on the future steps of the project.
Yeah, I mean,
They've
yeah,
got a lot of ambitious goals,
mhm.
and they probably have some people who are like dedicatedly working on those kinds of things.
Which I can agree with because it's like, you know, if Nero has taken on kind of like the public figure kind of like, you know, role in the team and everything like that, it does a lot Nikki and Dede to kind of stay more of the back end for development and like kind of really expanding the project. But I also do agree with Wilson too, is like it is nice to hear from like most of the members of the team. I mean, it's nice that they actually have like, you know, for comparisons for people in the Vechain NFT space, I know is like Nero's like the bread of Mad V Apes. Okay, he's always there in the forefront. People know him. He's the face of the project. But you know, like once in a while, at least with, you know, like say like VC, you know, like the where they're hosted and everything like that. At least for like the NFTs, you know, at least like with VC, you'll see a shrimp once in a while. You'll see some of the back end devs and everything too. And it almost sounds like even though Nero is the forefront, Nikki and Dade kind of stay a little too back end, where you're just kind of like, well, what are they doing? Are they still part of the team? Can they talk to us a little bit too? That everyone might love Nero, but it's like maybe they want to hear from Nikki, maybe want to hear from Dede. And it sounds like the other people that Wilson was talking about, Uno and I'm sorry, I forgot the other one. Are they mods in the
Shamrock.
community, or are they
Uno
Shamrock?
and Shamrock. Yeah.
Shamrock, I'm sorry, don't kill me. I forgot. I do. I think non fungal like news. I call him the Big Lebowski. I forget his name all the time. But you know, so it's not an insult. It's just I'll give you a nickname eventually, so I remember you. But you know, it's like so they're kind of like additional community members that came into the team to kind of like help with that engagement and everything as well. Would you say?
Yeah, so I actually spoke with Uno, and so from his description, they are volunteer Discord moderators, and yes, they may speak here with the team from time to time, but they're not directly connected with the team. So that is pretty much what their position is. They do know some things before any of us do, or I would say most of the community members do. But for the most part, that is their position in the community. They're simply Discord moderators.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they actually picked some really good people from the community as well. Because I know Uno as well. He's very well spoken, very active, very knowledgeable within like the VeChain NFT space and everything. But let's also use this as a segue to kind of like I know we kind of did like the engagement and everything like that, and we just covered the team. So let's and you mentioned a few times and some of their Discord mods that come from it. Uh, what can we say about the Mad V Apes community? Obviously, you touched on it too with the poll, how they come out in droves and everything like that. So let's just like touch on it just for like a second, and then we can move on to like the next like phase that we want to look at as well. So what can you guys tell me about the Mad V Apes community?
Yeah, so if I guess if I take a more positive approach, right? Because we can speak on the negative stuff later on, but personally, from what I've seen, like I've said, everybody's very friendly in there. They're always ready to help, especially each other, and especially when you have, an ape as your PFP. They're always down to help, down to guide you in the right path, tell you about anything you need to know. We've seen that both in the Discord as well as Twitter Spaces and Twitter in itself, where if you ask any type of question, they will immediately be there to answer that, whether that be, when people are asking about fusion times, when people are asking about the upcoming female drop, which we can touch up later on. And yeah, from what I've seen, community is very friendly, very active. And I would say that for the moderators as well, they are some of the most active people, like you've mentioned before. They do have 24 coverage
24
on
average.
24 hour
Shit.
24 hour sorry 24-hour coverage on their Discord, and it makes it really easy to ask a question and have it answered right away, and you don't have to wait hours and hours on end for somebody to answer your question, which is something I've seen in other Discords. But that's
And I
my
also like
point
that
on it.
their off-topic chat's really cool. I mean, they get like their apes follow apes, apes for apes kinds of things, and you'll see
Yeah.
like if there's anything going on in other NFT spaces in the VFam community, like you'll see right on their Discord like somebody's asking it and people are explaining it. I mean, it's like it's a really homey like aspect kind of relationship that they have going on in the community there.
I
So
agree. They're very connected as a community. I think they're very connected as a team because I think that comes from the top down. Yeah, we don't hear much from Nero's partners, but I think that sort of community engagement and that connection that they have has been brought from the top down, and it's something that I expect to continue, especially as we grow. Uh, but yeah,
I mean,
that's
it
my
does sound like
opinion
that they
currently
have
on
a
that community.
very like we just said like 19 times in like the last 30 seconds. A very engaged community, but also a very
Yeah,
engaged moderator team. So it seems like they have great communication skills, and like no one's feeling left out and everything like that too. And obviously, it's a very successful project. Like we already covered that before too, with like the mint times and everything like that too, because we know that these all sold out very quickly. But how
I,
let's talk about like how these guys
yeah.
keep them engaged and keep them invested and keep them very like keep the fervor up for the project as well. And, like let's talk about like what the team is doing for like utility of the NFT, because it's not just a profile picture like project anymore. It may at one time maybe started that in like concept, but it is definitely evolved. So let's talk about the utility. What can you guys tell me about the utility for all the new collectors out there?
Absolutely, man. So yeah, it's really exciting what they have for the utility of their PFP, and it's awesome to see how it's evolved and everything they've announced so far. I spoke with them, and they had told me that one thing, I should say, one thing I do want to mention about them. This is what they say when I asked them about utility and sort of what their vision was for the project, is that they already had a vision in mind. They already had a path they wanted to take with it, but they were and are open to any suggestions from the community and are very flexible to change how how things work currently and how they might work for anything that they have upcoming. And one example I can use for that is before the Fusion drop I should say the Fusion whitelist mint. It had been decided that my BA holders would be able to mint 10 each, and that would just be it. And there probably wouldn't be any left for public mint. But they were actually flexible enough to, post a poll within their Discord, ask the community opinion, and sort of change how people were able to mint. And they decided uh, whitelist mint that would be 2 mints, and then public you can do a max of 5, which was really cool to see. That in my opinion, I think it was a really fair way to do it, and it also provided the opportunity for newcomers to be able to grab an ape and become part of the community. So it allowed people to come in. But as far as utility goes, I'll touch up on one of the points, and I would say currently their alpha collection, which is their fur collection, it minted on December 1st, lasted for 34 hours. um, that collection currently allowed you to mint, on whitelist with the Fusion Apes, as well as it's used, and they've said this in their Discord. It's basically the key to everything that's coming uh, currently in their community. Every event, every drop, everything that they're gonna do, you will need a alpha ape to do it. But yeah, I'll let you guys, JT, if you want to, you can touch
You
up on
can
anything else in the utility, or I can continue to
you
speak
can
about
tell how much Wilson is in love with this, right? But
it.
about the utility of the tokens or the NFTs themselves, I think it's really cool that they've taken community consideration into like how they're going to develop utility. Like you've even heard Nero talk in AMAs about how land wasn't initially part of their roadmap, but they're trying to incorporate it into their project for Mad V8 holders because it's something the community wanted. And I think that them listening to the community is slowly adding more utility, but also them being willing to listen to their community is utility in and of itself.
Which I can agree with, because it's good that they actually listen for like the advancement and like see what the community wants. But it tells me that also is a little worrisome, because it almost brings it out of like what the team wants to scope for. And yeah, they're shaping to the community, which is a good thing. But I feel like the community is going to want more than what they can handle, and they might get stretched too thin. That's the only thing I'm worried about. It's like it's great to listen to your people, but sometimes you got to kind of filter out, because it's good that the actual original NFTs, the alpha apes, are like the key to everything. That enables you to the airdrops. That enables you to get whitelisted for future projects. There's rumblings of what, a token coming out. I heard. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
there
heard
could be a
about
token.
that.
And like, so it's like you're getting all these from this one. And mind you, their floor price is phenomenal right now. Like, I'm glad I hold 3. I'll probably hold on to those for a while until I find a time to strike. But it's like, I almost fear that the community is almost more ambitious than what the team can handle, and unless they're going to spend some money to get a shitload more developers, which they're going to need a lot, because like with everything else, that it sounds like what the community wants as well. I just fear they might get stretched thin, and I don't want the project to suffer. And to me, that almost docks a little point. So it's like, you pick and choose, but don't like really, you know what I'm saying? It's like, don't get too thin by listening to community too much. I'm not saying don't listen to them. It's just that it's like kind of slow down a little bit, because like, let's face it, they launched in November, and they already got all this shit planned, and they expanded so much.
The December.
December.
We just want to
Okay,
make the correction.
so we're going on
Yeah.
So we're going on like barely 2 months, and they are already expanded the scope of the project so much. I fear that it's too much rapid growth in a short amount of time, because I think, like, I don't know if they've even had time to settle in like what they want to accomplish, other than what the community wants to accomplish. And I just fear for the project's like overall health and longevity. And like, I don't want them getting burned out, because it's a lot of growth in such a short amount of time. And in the business world, although it's great short term, it's not sustainable long term.
No, so this, I guess I do agree with that actually. I was thinking of like, because this is the thing, right? They have the of have or have had the amazing ability of keeping that hype going for so long, and it's because they keep news after news after news coming, right? But how long can they keep that up? And like, will that hype last? And when the hype is gone, will the project stand on its own and be able to, provide what it said it will provide for the community? So I do get your fear for that, but um I'll play the devil's advocate, I guess. I'll say this. I think that um with the hype they've had and the people that they're bringing in, we've seen that they brought in new wallets for Fusion Mint, and I think they will continue to do that. I think that as the project grows and they continue to announce drops and do all that, it's all to solidify their project to the point where April comes in, and that way they have a solid community that can interact and form the economy that will drive ape world forward. And that's something I want to touch up when you were talking about tokens. They are thinking about it, and they haven't decided on anything. The community's opinion will probably be taken into account, so that's a little scary as well. But I've seen a lot of community members propose very good ideas on how the tokenomics should work. Like I said, nothing has been decided, but I think that once they've built a decent community with everything that they've done and they've provided, once the April comes out, I think that will be solid enough to drive the project forward. And I think April will serve um as their hold on their community, I should say. Not in a negative way. I don't want that to sound weird, like
Oh no, yeah, yeah.
they're hot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I want to provide some insight here too. Like, I do agree that perhaps maybe the devs need to learn how to, like, maybe work on saying no to a few things here and there. However, I think that what they've done is they have a community of 1,941 people in the Discord. Of those 1,900 people, you're going to get a few good ideas in there. And I think that with that number of people, like, a lot of the brain work can even be like done for them. They can present an idea, and then the community can just kind of like build a solid idea together. So I think that part of making Mad V Apes as big as it is that they can utilize this tool that they built.
I agree with that 100% because if we think about it in the long game and everything like that, they literally have a 1,900 member think tank that they all paid to be there for. They're not paying them; they paid to be in there and give them ideas. Just like, it just brings my concern though. It's because it's like right now the community is so conditioned and spoiled right now with these constant big announcements and advancements that if they ever do slow down, like Wilson was kind of touching on, I feel like that it just might hurt them a little bit just because of everyone is just so conditioned to expecting big things from them, and that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure for a small team. I'm not saying they should just like dial back or anything. I'm just like just pace it a little bit. Like take the ideas and everything like that. Like it's just a rapid expansion thing and the conditioning of the community. It's like, what happens if they go like 2 weeks without a big announcement or something huge doesn't happen, or the expectations get so astronomical that they could release something phenomenal, and for some reason people are disappointed because they're expecting more. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a double-edged sword. You're delivering and you're doing great by delivering and having all these deliverables to your community. But at what point do they have their expectations set so high that your best is not good enough eventually? And I'm not saying that might happen. I'm just saying that there's always a probability of that being the case because you never know how the general public is. Like you can never go the one thing we cannot predict is like the human mind. We never know what people are going to think or what they're going to go on to next or what they're going to expect. But what Wilson was kind of touching on too is like April's going to come, like all this other stuff too, and that might be their longevity and like keep their hold. That might be like their as people in the world like say their genesis. But it's like I don't know what people's idea what Sega is in this fucking space. I don't know. I like the Genesis, man. Sonic was great, but I don't get throwing that term around. But it's like, but at this point in time, without anything out there, it's really just speculation. So that's all we can do right now is just speculate. We can't say it's going to be a hard a hard hold for now, or even like a flop, or we can't even say like it's even going to be a success. It's just speculatory, which is fine,
Yeah.
and that's going to drive hype for them in the future. But now I wonder if I hope it lives up to the hype that they have built themselves.
I think it's important for people to know that our final ratings at the end of this don't involve like the speculation and that kind of thing. Like we're kind of reviewing the project as it is now, and as projects evolve, we will go back and re-review them to see how things have progressed from there.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, but speaking of which, we are getting up to actually we're over the half-hour mark now, and looks like we only really have I think we covered a lot of things. So let's touch just very briefly, and then I know this is a touchy subject with people. But I just want to take like a minute or two, just each person, just the art, because as we know, disclaimer, art is speculative. Okay, art is all perceptive. Like you cannot truly judge art, but we can only give our feelings on it. So let me start.
That is true.
I'll put myself downrange.
Just if you don't mind, real quick, should we touch up on certain strategies that the team has taken to maintain floor price? Should we talk about, price action and what that's happened with that? Do you think that's important now, or should we do that later on?
I had a great segue. I was jiving, I was flowing and everything like that. Then this guy come out here with a great fucking idea I forgot about. So yeah, let's get into it. And since you brought it up, take the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that they need to be given props on some strategies that they've done to maintain the floor price. And by the way, I do apologize. That was an awesome segue, and that was a good transition to talking about art. It was amazing. I apologize, man. I really do.
Fuck yourself.
But I'm being sincere. I promise you. But yeah, as far as price goes, I quickly wanted to mention and give props to the team because they've done something really amazing to keep their floor prices where it's at. And we've seen it bounce up and go a little bit down here and there, but it always returns to that 5,000 mark. And I think that the Fusion Apes have that exact same strategy going on. And what they've employed is the fact that if you ever dare, place your apes under the floor price, you lose all access to their upcoming drops, to Ape World, to any giveaway upcoming event. You will be blacklisted immediately. So I should mention that it's only blacklisting the wallet. So there's, some shady people can just do certain things to avoid that. But that has been their strategy. Yeah. That that has been their strategy to keep the price up, and it has worked tremendously well. We have seen it had, like I said, it's dropped a little bit, but Fusion has stayed, I think, between 2,800 to 3,000 price, and alphas, they are at a constant 5,000. They might drop here and there, or they might go up here and there, but it has been that, and that's amazing to see, and I like the approach they took with that.
I looked at the
Again,
exact
I like to.
before we started. So the floor price for alphas was 5,454 vet, and the floor price for the fusions was 2,680. So both way above min cost. I think they've done a phenomenal job with keeping that up, and part of that has to do with the devs, the community, and everything, the hype.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
you think about that too. It's like when you look at like just like the price increases, because the original mint for the alphas was 780 vet, and now we're looking at the floor price of, was it 5450?
54.54.
Shit, dude. What you're looking? Let me try doing some quick math here. Okay, 14, 28. Okay,
Like
700. Oh, dude, it's fucking we're probably looking at like a 700% increase. Double check my math. I'm a terrible Asian. What can you do? I'm only half Asian, wrong half, but what can you do? But then if we look at the alphas that literally dropped as of February 10th to 2022, last Saturday. So I don't even know how many days ago. Once again, fucking bad Asian. They're already going for like what's it, like 2,000 to 3,000. So you're either looking at like a 100 to 200% increase in less than a week in the fucking price off the mint for the alphas. And if you got an airdrop, that's pure profit as well. I mean, that's insane growth for anyone looking to invest in a project. Even if the floor price looks a little high to us who are in at the floor level, like at the bottom level, like that could still be a steal. And this isn't financial advice. Don't take it from me. I'm a shitty investor. I'm just from prospectus. It's just like that could still be a steal. I'm not saying go buy it or not, whatnot or anything. I'm just saying like you never know. You never know. Got to stay unbiased. Don't want to sell mine for like higher. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I don't got a segue out of that one, so.
Well, that leads into a good segue where, we can discuss how we feel about the art. Again, I know that we've been a little touchy about whether or not we want to kind of touch on that kind of thing, just because it's really subjective. But I think perhaps maybe
yeah, we could still at least give our own personal opinion, but we're not going to act like curators and say, no, this is art or this is good art or bad art. I'm saying we could just say our personal opinion on it. I think that's fair, and it's not really going to really kind of deviate anyone from purchase or not.
And I think for future projects as well, I know you're really involved with a lot of the AI tools out there for creating art. So I think you can give your insight on that kind of thing as well.
Oh, good old fucking art breeder.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, if I were to start, I'd say that I really liked the art from the beginning. Initially, I really didn't think that I was going to like the Fusion Apes when they were first announced. But when they came out, man, they did, I don't know what they did, but I think they look great. The alphas look great. I'm interested to see how the females look, but I think in general, the art's been really appealing to me as for my taste.
I'll go next. At first glance, because Mad V dropped was it the week or two after VCongs, and at that time 8-bit pixel graphics were dominating the VNFT, the early days of the VNFT space, and to see Mad V come out with these fucking beautiful illustrations, details, shadowing, light sources and everything like that too. By the way, guys, I'm an art nerd, but just seeing all this painstakingly effort put into these randomly generated mints. You can tell they had a great artist, which I do believe from there is Dade, who was the creative artist. They look beautiful. Even the metallic finish apes, the shine and the gloss and everything like that too, masterfully done. And the line weights and everything like that too. They probably I can notice here and there some of the line weights look a little off and everything like that, but you don't notice it because everything else is so beautiful. And I will agree with you too. At first, I had a guaranteed airdrop because I own 3. At first, I'm these Fusion Apes look like dog shit. But they grew on me. And then, the more and more I saw them, just okay, these are actually, okay, I'm starting to feel it. It did, at first, because I'll be more of, an illustration side kind of person. And, computer, CGI and everything like that, too, or computer generated. I'm just yeah, okay, yeah, you click, you dragged a few, you dragged a few points and, you made a polygon, cool. But it grew on me because the more you look at some of these Fusion Apes, the more detail you can see they actually put in there. It wasn't just throw it in there random basic shapes or anything. And they actually did grow, and I think they're actually pretty dope because they're so different from the actual Alpha Apes. And I think that contrasting art style is kind of what makes the project very versatile, at least in the art category.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys 100%, but I do want to say I had a completely different opinion. From the beginning, I was really, really happy with them. I thought it was impressive. I thought that they brought a whole new art style to Vechain and VNFTs that we hadn't seen before, specifically here made. So I was very excited about the Fusion Apes. I might just been very excited about the project in general, but yeah, that was my opinion there. I'm not an art expert, art connoisseur like Dripsha, but I was simply mesmerized by the fact that they had sort of taken their ape idea and upgraded it to such level. But then again, that's just my opinion. So
I mean, if I'm going to touch back on previous subject, honestly, I felt a little rug pulled on the fusion because I was thinking fucking Dragon Ball Z Fusion Dance 2 apes together, fucking Mega Monkey or something like that. But they're bringing us breeding in the future anyway, so we get to see monkeys bang, so that should be great. I doubt they'll have a mini game, unlike some other projects, but we're not gonna give advertisement to anyone else, Virgo. But Virgo's still here.
Yeah, she's here.
We've
I
just
think.
been talking for 40 minutes. I think she's just making sure that we stay on track. And shit. I can almost feel her holding the ruler to keep us on track, like just from like
Bro, I'm
thousands of
scared.
miles
I'm not
away.
gonna lie.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm very scared. But as far as because you just touched up on something really interesting, we didn't really talk about it much. And by the way, JT, I apologize. I knew you were gonna say something. I apologize for cutting you off. But female apes are coming, which is really interesting, and they announced this breeding mechanic, and some people in the chat were sort of thinking that maybe there would be a burn mechanic to make the alphas even more rare than what they are. But what's more interesting to me is that the breeding is not just called alpha breeding; it's called fusion breeding. So what I think it is that you will this is just my personal theory. You will combine these two apes to make a whole new fusion baby ape, and it will have the exact same art style or better art style than what the fusion apes currently are.
yeah, I'm going to avoid.
Just a theory, though.
Yeah, I'm going to avoid theorizing just because I kind of want to stick to the facts here. And
Absolutely.
it's worth mentioning for the females that they did mention that you have to have an alpha to get airdropped. It's a one for one airdrop, so there's not going to be any kind of public mint. So that's another thing that's going to be hiking up prices as well as people try to get their alphas.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I just want to throw a little hype in there, make things a little bit hopeful for anybody that hears. They got to get the good news, man. We gotta tell them. We gotta throw a little bit in there, a little bit of hope.
Yeah, he's shilling so he can flip them and everything like that. We're supposed to be unbiased here.
No, no, no. No. Listen.
We should probably make a full disclosure. I hold Mad V Apes.
Same, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, I'm very happy to talk about things that are red flags for me with the project, and I'm also very as we mentioned at the website before. I think it's important to know that we are trying to remain unbiased with these talks because even though we're owners, I'm happy to fight on my own bag if I feel like I'm protecting other people.
Oh yeah, fuck, I do the same thing with
I
cars.
agree 100%. Bro, you're fucking hilarious, but no, but
Hey, I was actually before we get to our final scores and everything like that, and anything else you guys want to talk about and everything, hey, just out there for Nero, if you're listening, hey, is there any way I could breed my Kongs with Mad V Apes so I get rid of those fucking things that I'm
no.
Can I do something so they can monkey fuck so I can get rid of these things?
Oh my god, bro.
Can I put it through breeding fusion so I just get a fucking mentally disabled monkey or something like that? Something a little better. I'll take a wheelchair one. I don't give a shit. Just get these fucking things out of my wallet, dude.
Oh my gosh.
But I do want to make it clear, I'm throwing a little hope in there. I'm more of the positive guy in the talk currently for this specific project. I do want to make this clear to anybody that listens in. We are providing a non-biased opinion. This is a non-biased review. It will have a score at the end. I personally love the project, and I can't hope to sometimes, fanboy over it. But that doesn't mean that I won't be, very direct on how I feel about the project and how I feel about the things that it's lacking. Currently, I'm very excited for what they have coming, and so far they haven't disappointed me. But like Dripsha mentioned, how long can they keep that up, and will that be harmful to the team moving forward? Because it is a lot of pressure. So I just want to make that clear.
You do realize I want to make you look like an asshole by putting the disclaimer at the beginning, right? You realize I want to do that, so you seem like a dick, right?
It's okay, Drip. It's okay.
All right, JT.
It's okay.
And I think that in the vein of trying to keep things, I'm happy to point out red flags. There was a red flag that I mentioned before we started this, and actually ended up turning to a green flag because of how they responded to it. So I noticed that during the Fusion airdrops, 4 of the top 5 Fusion apes and 6 of the top 10 Fusion apes had been included in the airdrop mechanic, which initially they said that they were going to decide who got those the airdrops of the rare apes that were minted for the airdrops. But as Wilson pointed out, if you want to go from there.
Please say that one more time. Kind of spaced out.
Oh, don't worry. I can just clarify. So Wilson pointed out to me that actually they noticed that people were concerned about how many rares they ended up minted in the first 1900,
Oh
and so
yeah,
they passed the
absolutely.
files on to Red and allowed him to randomly airdrop all those
Yeah.
rares to people. It's a red
Uh,
flag that became a green flag. It was a good way to respond to that.
Yeah, no, so absolutely, I do want to touch up on that real quick, and I apologize, AT, for spacing out there, but yeah, so that is something I want to touch up on, and we hadn't touched up at the beginning, but yeah, so there was some concerns about certain team members or part of the Discord moderators getting special apes, like special ranks, so some of the top ranked apes, and I can understand why that's a bit concerning because as a community member, you're not exactly sure about their randomization of these mints and drops, and you get ideas, right? But from what Nero has confirmed in the announcements was that they did give all the files and all the entities to VC, and they randomized everything. So even the Mad V Apes team itself wouldn't know what apes will go to who. So as far as that goes, I think that it there's possibilities for everything, right? I can't say that the team did that because I have no proof. There is no proof of doing that, but there was some concerns in the community because, like I said, higher ups in that community itself or part of the team had gotten some fusion apes. At the end of the day, we don't exactly know, but it's just something we should keep in mind moving forward, and that I think that projects should make clear. I think they were clear enough, saying that they made it as random as possible, especially with the drop. But then again, communities were a little upset about it. One thing I do want to touch up on that though, if I may be a little more positive about the whole issue. I, First of all, I do think that it does take the opportunity from community members and newcomers to the community if they are doing that, like giving it. I'm not saying they are. I just want to make that very clear. I'm not saying they are, but if they are doing that, it does take that opportunity from them. But I also think, and this is just my personal opinion, I think that the most active people in the community that help it move it forward should get a reward for what they do because they're doing it for free and they don't get paid for it. They're just volunteers. So if they have the possibility of getting something that's high ranked as payment for what they've done, I think that wouldn't be such a bad thing. Now, am I saying all the high ranks should go to them or the best ones? No, I'm just saying, like, if he gets a rank 50, I wouldn't really be mad. But, that's my opinion. Again, I'm not saying that
Honestly,
is.
it's fair because if you're not going to get like fiat or anything like that for like the work that you're doing, I don't think anyone is going to be mad that if they're just transparent about it, like, hey, listen, guys, for like the work, let's say Uno has been doing in the Discord, hey, we're going to give him like a rank like 1 through 75 like fusion ape as part of like his payment and reward. And I think people will all agree with it and just be like, yeah, that's actually fucking fair. But you like if you're going to do it, you have to be transparent about it.
I
You
agree.
can't just randomly do it. You can't just like gift or snipe fucking mints like other people in the community do. But no names or anything. But we're not going to get into that category. That's something else. But we are starting to get a little rambly. Virgo's not doing a good job of keeping us in line, even though it is all very informative. But we are approaching 50 minutes. We're at the 48-minute mark right now. Do we have any parting comments before we give our final scores of Mad V Apes?
Yeah, I hope the females are thick.
Yo,
I do want to say that I think that a lot of us kind of decided on picking this as our first project because we wanted to set a benchmark. Mad V Apes is probably one of the better projects out there in the community, in my opinion. And I think it was really good to start with a project of this caliber moving forward.
Oh, it's only straight downhill from here now. It's gonna be fucking great.
Oh wow!
like this. Oh, I don't even know if I should make this joke. I'm not going to. This
No,
people
don't
can play it back. Yeah, spoiler is gonna be a 9/11 joke, but okay. But yeah, okay. Let's get past that. All right, guys. So, I was just all right.
Dude, I could almost taste it.
Oh yeah, it was pretty juicy. Well, okay, yeah, guys. So let's wrap it out now. Like anyone who's listened to this fucking far, I apologize for our incoherent rambling. Everyone in the room is now dumber for listening to what we just said. We award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Happy. Oh no, yeah, Billy Madison reference, by the way. But yeah, so guys, that's going to wrap up our discussion on the Mad V Apes NFT project. This covered the Alpha and the Fusion series as well. But we're going to leave you guys with our final scores. These are our personal opinions. These are not hard scores or financial advice to what if you should or shouldn't invest in this project. This is just us as unbiased professionals within the VNFT space giving our actual review and scores on this project. Virgo, if you are there, do you want to give your score on a scale of 1 to 10? What would you rank the Mad V Apes project?
7, because I like the number 7.
Did you say 7?
Yeah.
Oh, you said 6 before. I'm going to call you on that one. Now I got to recalculate. All right, but
We
okay.
discussed it some more.
Yeah, we discussed it some more. And now she's like, oh, it's 7. So okay, Wilson, you go ahead next because I got a fucking calculator now and find averages.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually gonna go with 7.5.
You motherfucker. Okay, yep, go ahead.
I think.
Yeah, can you give us reasons why the 7.5?
Yeah, so I think 7.5 is a pretty good score for now because we don't have the project's still going. There's things to come. They still have to solidify a lot of things, in my opinion, or a lot of information, let's just say, about upcoming drops, Ape World, whatever that it might be, right? So 7.5 is well above average, and I think is a fair score for what we have now.
Yeah, I'll go next with mine as well, so that way I'm ready for JT, so I can actually do calculations in the back end. I'm going to also give Mad V Apes project as a whole a 7. I think it's a great project. I think it's beautiful, like at least on its delivery. I think they've done a good job with the community and their engagement. Some of the things that did dock points for me was their public-facing website that has been pretty much ignored, or at least put on the wayside for other development within the space. But if you want to do a Times Square billboard and then bring new people in, that's going to be the first thing they Google. So I think that's hurting them, so I'm going to dock them points for that. And I do have reservations and fear that they may get stretched too thin and set the bar too high too early, where it could backfire on them in the long run. I don't want it to, but it just very well could. So that's why I am justifying just a 7, which is, like Rosa said, a very above average score. JT, what is your final rating on Mad V Apes?
I think I'm going to do an 8. I was thinking about going up to an 8.5, but I don't want to change my score too much from our initial discussion because, community is a 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, they're doing an incredible job there. But again, just like you said, like the website kind of gives me pause, especially because they spent money on a Times Square billboard. And for me, I think that kind of shows like, it was really awesome. It was super hype for the community, but I think that perhaps maybe they didn't think everything all the way through for how it would look when people actually start Googling their project. Additionally, because your everyday person doesn't walk around with VThor in their wallet where they pull up the DApp and see the really good website that they have on VC. I think additionally, I would like to see the developers a little bit more, at least know a little bit more about them. Maybe if they could add that to their website, that would be really good for people. I think to feel a little bit more confident around the developers, but I think that the community as a whole has a really good feel for the developers. And I think that just for my ranking, the two concerns that I had were the developer and the developer presence and the online website. Everything else I think is really phenomenal. So great job. I mean, an 8 out of 10 for our scoring system is really good.
Yeah. So
also.
Oh yeah. Motherfucker.
Oh, sorry. I do want to say that I'm not taking into account any future drops. Like I said, all my rankings will be based on the project as it is right now.
Well, I mean, I think people put 2 and 2 together. This is just a rating as it is right now, as delivered.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So just for a quick review as well, final scores from the VeViews team and everything like that. Virgo gives Mad V Apes project overall like a 7 out of 10. Myself, I give it a 7 out of 10 as well. Wilson gives it a 7.5 out of 10, and JT gives it an 8 out of 10. And that gives it a VeViews overall score of 7.375. And since we don't do that many decimals, we're just going to round it up to a 7.5. So that's your overall review from us, the VeViews team. First review, Mad V Apes NFT project in the Vechain blockchain. I don't think that's a bad score for a great project. They can only go from here or down. I hope they don't go down, for the love of God. My floor price, please, no. But yeah, guys, any parting words before we get out of here? We got about 30 seconds left.
No, great job, guys.
No, that's it. All right, cool. Well, I'm just going to start the
No, that
outro
was
music.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm just going to start the outro music, then we'll just, ramble out what fades to black and everything like that. But hey, guys, let me tell you about this 9/11 joke. So what it is I was going to say that they were...